Hi, I'm Alex from the Southern Ukulele Store, and before we get well into today's video, I just wanted to do a personal plug for something of my own that I'm doing while I've got the opportunity. Yesterday I finished my debut solo ukulele album, and I put it up for pre-order for people that kind of already follow my music, but I put a link in the description. If you've been listening to these videos a while and you thought, oh, I'd like to hear more of Alex's music, now's your opportunity. There's a link in the description, and there's a link to some YouTube videos where I do my own music if you want to hear it before you go ahead. Anyway, enough of that. Today's video is about Kiwaya ukuleles, or as I like to call them, Kiwaya ukuleles. I don't think there's an actual correct pronunciation because I've heard Japanese people say both. I think it's been westernized over time. So today I'm going to call them Kiwaya ukuleles because that's how I know them. And we've got, I believe, 11 Kiwaya models here to demonstrate for you all. It's a brand that's been around for decades and decades and has been one of the kind of more revered brands in the Western world, probably for the last 20 years. The KS4 and KS7 in particular are really sought after ukuleles that tick a box that no one else is really ticking. So I'm going to start right at the beginning with their student series, the KS1, and we're going to end with the KS7 today. But I've got a few Sopranos, a couple of concerts. Yeah, lots to get through and lots of exciting ukuleles to listen to, so let's begin. Okay, the first ukulele we're going to look at today is the Kiwaya KS1, which stands for the Kiwaya Student Ukulele 1. This is a laminate mahogany soprano, much in the same vein as something like a Baton Rouge UR21 or a Kala KAS. It's a bit more expensive than those though, for a few reasons. One, it feels more solid. It doesn't just feel like another Chinese made to a price ukulele. The fretwork, the neck, the machine heads, the actual body shape and symmetry of the whole thing is just a bit tighter than something like a Kala KAS. It does also come with a gig bag as well, so when you factor in that it's about £30 more expensive than an introductory Kala, what you do get is an instrument that is £30 more refined, in my opinion. So this is laminate mahogany with a walnut fingerboard and bridge. This has a 35mm nut. The student series ukuleles have a 35mm nut in almost all cases, with some open back tuners. And for those of you who asked me this in the comments all the time, this one does have side dots as well. Yeah, really good ukulele. I'm going to give it a play at the end of the video here and see what you guys think. Okay, second ukulele I'm going to look at today, for those of you that are digging the Kiwaya KS1 but wanted something a bit longer. This is the KS1L, so the Kiwaya Student Ukulele 1 long neck. So this has a concert neck with the soprano body. Other than that, the spec is the same. So this is the equivalent of, say, a Kala KA SLNG. It has a laminate mahogany top, back and sides with a walnut fingerboard and bridge. Some good open back tuners, and I'm just going to double check, I'm pretty sure it's, yeah, 36mm nut on the long neck model. So anyway, I'm going to give it a play and see what you guys think. Okay, next ukulele for you here is the Kiwaya KCU1. So this is the student concert. So we've just looked at the soprano and the soprano long neck. Well, this one has that concert neck with the slightly bigger concert body. Other than that though, the spec is exactly the same. It has a 36mm nut, has the side dots that all the student ukuleles have, walnut fingerboard and bridge with laminate mahogany on the top, back and sides, mahogany neck, open back tuners. Another great ukulele to get you going. This would be the equivalent, I would say, of something like a Kala KAC, and you will pay more for this, but it's an instrument that comes in a gig bag, which factors a little bit into the price, and it's just so well put together. Really good ukulele, and for somebody that can up their budget a little bit for their first ukulele, this is a perfect candidate. I'm going to give it a play and see what you think. Okay, the next ukulele we're going to look at today might be a bit more familiar to some of you. This is a Kiwaya KS1. Now, for a long time, the KS1 was the introductory model for Kiwaya ukuleles. This is part of a series that Kiwaya called the Eco series, which is a very, very thin, super laminate ukulele. Much more refined than most of the ukes on the market. It's actually quite hard to tell when looking in the sound hole sometimes if it's a solid piece of wood or a laminate with a little bit of dye on the top, but they are laminates. This is a bit different to the student series for a few reasons. First of all, the neck shape on the KS1 is completely different. If you imagine that the shape of the neck on the student series is like a C, you know, it's a really kind of perfect curve all the way around. This ukulele has almost a flat point on the back of the neck, like something like a canalea might have. So you can't see, I'll do some close-ups so you guys can see. So there's almost like a flat point coming away from the neck into a U shape. And then as you go around the neck, it kind of almost feels flat right on the bottom. It's not quite flat, but flatter than like a standard C-shaped neck. And the KS1 does have a slightly wider nut width as well. The nut width on the KS1 and the KS5 we're going to look at next is 37mm to accommodate this slightly chunkier but flatter neck shape. This ukulele is laminate mahogany, walnut fingerboard, but a mahogany bridge. Something I read on a Kiwaya website about their choice in tone woods and kind of appointments like the bridge is they like to match the bridge where possible to the body on models like the Eco series to give a kind of more true mahogany tone. In the absence of a solid wood instrument, they believe that the bridge actually adds something to that tone. And yeah, it's hard to disagree with that really. When you listen to something like an Ohana SK35 next to this, it can be quite hard to differentiate a laminate from a solid, and there's definitely a debate to be had whether a solid wood instrument is always better than a good laminate or vice versa. So yeah, another great ukulele worth a look. The Eco series has traditional friction tuners as well, give it more of a traditional feel. But yeah, really good ukulele. I'm going to give it a play for you now. Okay, and the fifth ukulele we're going to look at for you today is another one of the Eco series. This is the Kiwaya KS5. Now, the KS5 has a couple of different guises. You might have seen a famous KS5. Kiwaya and Famous are part of the same family of brands, and for a long time there were shops in the US importing Famous ukuleles from kind of Eastern Japanese distributors. And as a result, a lot of people get the two brands confused when it comes to this model. So yeah, this is a Kiwaya KS5. The Famous KS5 is exactly the same. This model is laminate koa on the top, back and sides. Once again, super thin laminate, very, very resonant. Like you can feel it against your body in a way that you don't often feel with laminate ukuleles. They've done that clever thing again where they pair the bridge with the top wood. So this is a koa bridge with a walnut fingerboard, that slightly wider 37mm nut with the really chunky, thin, not chunky, that slightly elongated sides to the neck but a flat point on the back. Gold tuners, friction tuners again. Just, yeah, another really good traditional styled ukulele with a modern approach. This has a high gloss finish as well, as you'll probably tell in the video from the way it shines on the lights. It's impossible to do that without filming in the dark, I'm afraid. But yeah, great ukulele. I'm going to give it a play for you now and see what you think. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the KC1G Kiwaya. So this is part of that Eco series again. This is the first concert in that series. This is the equivalent to the KS1. So this is a laminate mahogany again, but really thin super laminate with that elongated side to the neck with the flat point on the back. This has got open back geared tuners. It retains that 37mm nut width, so if you need a bit more space on the fretboard, this might be a good ukulele to choose instead of something like a Pono. Mahogany bridge to tie in with the mahogany top. Yeah, I've said everything I need to say about this series and the other two ukuleles, but hopefully your ears will do the thinking for you, because these sound great. I'm going to give it a play and see what you think. Okay, and our final ukulele today from the Eco series is a bit of an anomaly. I actually don't know the full story on why this instrument has a solid top, but the KLS1G, yes, the KLS1G that we've got here is a solid mahogany top with the laminate, very thin, super laminate back and sides. Has a mahogany bridge. This one also has that 37mm nut with the slightly chunkier neck, and it's a long neck soprano. So around the same kind of price here as, say, a Pono MS. You can get something that is a solid top and not all solid, but has a little bit more of a kind of fat finger friendly neck profile. And sound wise, I think these sound great. This is probably one of my favourites of the 11 we're going to play today. This has a walnut fingerboard as well with the open back geared tuners. Another great ukulele from Kiwaya. I'm going to give it a play and I hope you like it. Okay, our next ukulele today is probably the ukulele that drew many of you into watching this video. This is the Kiwaya KTS4. Now, the KTS4 is the ukulele that I think built the brand Kiwaya. Now, I undersold Kiwaya earlier on when I said they've been going decades and decades. I actually forgot that it's their 100th year this year. So this is a brand that began in 1919, a brand that there are examples of the KTS4 in non-KTS4 forms going back to 1920, 1921. Sometimes if you look on sites like Reverb or eBay and look through old listings, you can get 80, 90 year examples of these instruments. The KTS4 is modelled on the Martin Style 1, so it's a solid mahogany, very vintage style soprano, and they haven't really changed the spec too much in 100 years. It currently comes with an ebony fingerboard and bridge instead of rosewood. It came with rosewood for years and years and years, but CITES changed that. This has a very thin 35mm nut, and very recently they upgraded the tuners to Goto planetaries, but they were always friction tuners. Definitely an upgrade as well, because these tuners, they respond like friction tuners, in terms of how they balance an instrument, but a planetary tuner just gives you a little bit more precision. I'm a big fan of friction tuners, but they definitely turn more people off to ukulele than they turn them on, so it's a good choice by Kiwaya. Very simple decoration. This has just a tiny little rosette around the sound hole like the Martin, and this one has no side dots, which is something that people have asked about in the past. And this instrument also has the kind of older fashioned C neck. It hasn't got that modern Eco series neck that we were talking about. Yeah, just the ukulele, very much the most authentic copy of a vintage Martin, and I will go on the record and say that Kiwaya make sopranos like Martin better than Martin make them. You can look at any example of a modern Martin soprano and compare it to this, and I think you will be underwhelmed. Someone out there is bound to disagree, but there are plenty of people that agree with me. This is the ukulele to get if you want a vintage style soprano, but you don't want the unreliability of an 80-year-old instrument or the cost involved. So yeah, the KTS4, a great vintage style instrument to make your own stories on. Let's give it a play. Okay, the next ukulele we're going to look at today is a Kiwaya KTC2. Now, there are two concert ukuleles in this range worth a look. There's the KTC1, which is an instrument like the KTS4, where the fretboard stops when the neck meets the body, and the KTC2 extends the neck just a little bit further, right to the point where it meets the sound hole. So, if you didn't get that from my description, if you look at the KTS4 and look at where the fingerboard stops, and then you look at where the fingerboard stops on the KTC2, that's the difference between the KTC1 and the KTC2. Now, this particular KTC2 has a strap button because a customer purchased it and went for something else 5 minutes later. Sometimes that happens, but this instrument normally won't have a strap button. This has the same solid mahogany top, back and sides as the KTS4, with an ebony fingerboard and bridge. This one also has the Goto planetary tuners, which has been standard I think for about 2 years now. And the KTC2 nut width is, bear with me, yeah, 36mm nut width. Sorry, I can't remember them all, I try my best. So 36mm nut on the concert. Yeah, very much the kind of concert version of the KTS4. These have been around for 70 plus years as well in some form or another. Great ukulele by Kiwaya. We'll give it a play and see what you think. Okay, the penultimate ukulele we're going to look at today is the Kiwaya KPC 1K HG. And this ukulele is a bit of an anomaly in this video because it's the only ukulele from Kiwaya's Strummer series that we're going to feature. Now the Strummer series have been popular, but they are relatively unknown compared to Kiwaya's very famous Artist series. So the Artist series is the KTS4, the KTC2, the KS5, KS7, the models with KTS in front of them. People know them, people love them, and as a result I think that Western audiences have really embraced those, and these newer models, which have been around for about 5 years, have been slightly neglected. So the Strummer series is different because it's designed for a kind of more modern player. The neck shape is the same as the Eco series. It's that elongated U shape, so it's a neck with a slightly wider profile that would suit somebody that has big hands or somebody that really digs in when they play. if you have a very thin neck or a very thin nut width and you're a very technical player, sometimes you can kind of fall off the fingerboard. That's less likely to happen with this slightly wider neck shape and a slightly more kind of recessed nut spacing. So the nut width on the KPC1K is 37mm, as I thought, because it's slightly thicker to go with that neck shape, and it's an ebony fingerboard and bridge with a solid, very high grade curly koa top and laminate koa back and sides like the Eco series. This has the open back tuners, and it's got a unique Kiwaya headstock shape. It's a very Western headstock shape compared to their other models and the ones they're more known for. This ukulele actually comes from Kiwaya with a strap button on the bottom, and it has side dots because it's designed for a more modern player, and more modern players really dig side dots. Yeah, another great ukulele. Also the only one to come from Kiwaya with Worth Browns. That's an interesting addition and definitely one that suits the instrument. Yeah, I'm going to give this one a play and see what you guys think. Okay, the last ukulele we're going to look at today is the Kiwaya KS7. A very, very famous ukulele, perhaps more famous now than the model that it's copying. This is based on a Martin Style 3, or it's a mahogany version of a Martin 3K. This is a ukulele that has been around for 80 years plus. Kiwaya have been copying them for decades and decades, and people pay silly money for old examples of a KS7. They're always popular here and always requested when we don't have them in stock. So this has a solid Honduran mahogany top, back and sides, a premium mahogany with a mahogany neck, ebony fingerboard and bridge with that 5-ply binding going all the way down the fingerboard, really nice deluxe touch there, and the plastic inlay in the top there, the little horn. You've also got 5-ply binding around the body, around the rosette, and the plastic binding on the top and the back. Back binding does it for me. Not many instruments have back binding. You'd realise quite often that people only look at the front, but I quite like the visual when you're looking down at an instrument. Being able to see it bound both sides to me feels like something worth paying for. I couldn't tell you why, just my opinion. I probably already mentioned the ebony fingerboard and bridge with the dual dots, and this one has side dots as well, because that used to be a deluxe thing, believe it or not. It's got the planetary tuners as well, and the kind of more traditional 35mm nut. Yeah, I've said all I can say about this really. I wish I could put it over more than I have. It's a great ukulele. I'm going to give it a play, and I hope you like it. Okay, so that's Kiwaya ukuleles in the history books here at SUS. What did you guys think? Did you have a favourite? Was there one you didn't like? Please leave a comment, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, buy my album. You can look up the link in the description there. It's nice and easy to remember my website if you want to find out more. It's alexbeds.co.uk. I'd really be really interested to see what you guys think, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me at alex@ukulele.co.uk, or you can call the shop on 01202 430 820 and chat to me or one of the team. I've always been a really big fan of Kiwaya, but I put off doing the video for a while because I just didn't think I could do them justice. The one thing I can say about this video is that I don't think there's a weak instrument in this selection. I would be happy to recommend any of these to anybody. So yeah, once again, I'm Alex Beds, Southern Ukulele Store, and I'll speak to you again soon.